Good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with WesternPacificWeather.com. It is currently approximately 1800 Japan Standard Time, about 1700 in the Philippines here, or approximately 06. For those of you worldwide here, we continue to watch Super Typhoon Songda here, or Chedeng. Current winds from JTWC are 130, gusting to 160 knots. So a very strong Super Typhoon out here. Actually, just starting to see a little bit of eye wall replacement cycle in the midst of it. So starting to see a little bit of weakening in it, but the big news is that in the next 24 hours, actually the next 12 hours, is going to encounter a lot of wind shear up here to the north. Actually showing here on the basically you kind of see some of the shear coming off of the frontal system up to the north. So good news as far as weakening, and also as it tracks off to the northeast towards Okinawa, it's going to be much weaker than what is currently being shown on the current status of this storm. Noting currently seeing some high winds in Apari just on the northeastern coast of Luzon, seeing some heavy rain showers, high winds being reported out of there, also high surf along much of eastern Luzon as well, and only one report of a death out here just along the eastern coast. An old person about 70 years old died fishing out here. So always noting, once you see a strong system like this, don't even go anywhere remotely towards the beaches. Actually, Taiwan putting out a sea warning currently, so they're also taking kind of the precautions, though not expecting a landfall remotely close to Taiwan, but still a lot of those high surfs along the beaches, they're definitely going to be a huge factor. Here showing the microwave imagery, though, combined with the visible and infrared imagery, just showing the high cloud tops and the colder temperatures, really do see that sustained eye wall rate in here. I noted an eye wall replacement cycle starting to develop here, and you can kind of indicate that by the outer eye wall here and an inner eye wall forming up here. If the conditions for tropical cyclone development persisted over the next 24 hours, so that means low vertical wind shear, high sea surface temperatures, and all those good ingredients, this would likely mean that the system would re-intensify even stronger than what it currently is, which is 130 gusts to 160 and a 1-minute wind average. But good news is already noted, and you're looking at this shear chart here, is that we're going to see a large increase in wind shear, actually showing up here about 30 to 40 up towards 50 knots of wind shear over Okinawa here. So that is going to drastically decrease the intensity of this storm as it tracks off to the north, noting it is currently a typhoon of 130 knots, so it's not going to decrease enough where it's going to be weak, but it'll likely be much weaker. Approximate winds at landfall over Okinawa still continue to look about 100 knots sustained on a 1-minute wind average, a little bit less on the 3 minutes from JMA, but noting we are going to be seeing some strong winds, definitely typhoon strength over Okinawa here in the next 24 hours. So definitely a dangerous situation here as it continues to track off to the northeast. I know that Kadena Air Base here, and for all those military that are watching this, is currently upgrading their T-Core. They were at T-Core 3. I would not be surprised if you go to T-Core 2 and up to 1. Make sure you always know that if it is in the 1, for those meteorologically, or excuse me, military speaking, do not go outside. Definitely have all your stuff secured by that time. Don't go outside for any reason. It's always a dangerous situation. So just keep that in mind out here. Good news, as already stated in my previous updates, many of the buildings in Okinawa are built to withstand typhoons, as these are a common occurrence down there. But once you start seeing those injuries is when people start deciding they want to go to the beaches and not such. But here's showing the JTWC warning for the storm. Current winds 130 gusting up to 160, as already noted. At CPA here for Kadena and basically all of Okinawa, expecting winds right around 100 knots, gusting up to 130 knots. That has not changed too much in the last several updates. Fair confidence is going to move just left of the island and much of the Ryukyu Islands, all these other ones out here. So that really going to put many of these islands in the right front quadrant of the system. So with that forward momentum and also sustained winds on top of it, could add a little bit higher winds that are not actually being reported here. A couple wind gusts could reach upwards of 130 gusting up to 140 knots. So it's still a dangerous situation here. Also, the potential of storm surge on the southern periphery of the island could see a significant rise in sea level. So basically all these regions south of Naha definitely under the gun. And also as the storm passes, if it does pass off here just to the west and basically a cyclonic rotation coming around the storm, you could start to see a surge coming up on the eastern part of the island as well. So even if you do note the storm is moving towards the west, you're still going to be seeing onshore winds coming in from basically the southeast here. So you do think you're on the lee side of the center of rotation here. It's still the potential of a dangerous situation if you are in some of these low-lying areas on the eastern portion of the island. So just want everybody to keep that in mind. But as we continue to watch this storm, actually starting to get our first glimpse on radar of some of these outer rain bands coming out of Taiwan here. Already noted that Taiwan does have much of the area under a sea warning and basically local surf warnings along the east coast here. And also noting the last storm that came through the region, Tropical Storm Ari, did drop a tornado on Taipei here. So always the potential for tornadic activity in a lot of these outer rain bands, even with weaker systems. So I always want to make sure to mention that, because usually a lot of the major news agencies tend to overlook that factor here. So there could be the potential in some tornadoes in these outer rain bands all the way up here and all the way up over Taipei, actually seeing some of these outer rain bands. So just something I always like to mention, and I do want people to kind of keep in the back of their mind. And lastly here, showing JMA's warning though on this system, really in track with JTWC. I like to see the two agencies match up. Fair confidence on basically it going just to the west of Okinawa here. Now afterwards though, that's when the models start to split up here, and all the way up past Honshu here, both of the agencies are basically in alignment. Also Taiwan as well, which is warning on the system, all in alignment of this just going southeast of Honshu, which would really be good news. It also looks like it's going to begin its extratropical transition at this time, so we're going to be seeing a dramatic weakening on the system as it continues to track off to the northeast, mainly because of that vertical wind shear as noted earlier here, all associated with the westerlies. That you can actually see on this streamline analysis here. You can see in the upper level winds moving across Honshu, and this is indicated of a jet stream right in here, and as it continues to recurve, it will get taken off in this jet stream here. Noting the right front quadrant of the system is going to be much more stronger than the left side as it passes much of the Kanto plain up here. So everybody up in the Tokyo region likely going to see effects of this storm, some high winds, but I personally believe it's going to be for a short duration, and also is going to be very weak. I only expect about gale force winds, about 30 gusting up to 40 knots max intensity for much of the Kanto area. Could be higher in some funneling areas, but overall the higher winds are going to be in the right side because this storm is going to move in rather rapidly, upwards of about 15 to 20 knots forward momentum. That's actually going to take away the maximum sustained winds of 15 to 20 knots on the left side of the storm as it passes much of eastern Honshu. So good news also for the tsunami-stricken areas. We all know that they're still continuing to recover up there from the tsunami, so would be really good news if this drastically weakened and just went east of the mainland Honshu. So that's all for today, everybody. Thanks again for listening here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, always can email me here at westpacweather@gmail.com, or post your comments in the comment section below if you're watching this on YouTube. Also have a Facebook page. If you go to the website Western Pacific Weather, you can basically like our Facebook page and see the continuous updates on these videos and other aspects of the storms and tropicals out here in the Western Pacific. So thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe out there, and always make sure that you watch your local warnings and your local agencies here. Noting my videos are not official forecasts. Many of the times I inject my personal opinions into these and basically try to make my own aspects of this. So just wanted to mention that it's all well. Always take heed of your evacuation orders and non such out here. So thanks again. Stay safe and have a great day. Bye.